Hi, folks. It's Paul the Boss Man back again. And before I get started on today's topic, I want to give you the address to my website, www.theboss.rocks, helping restaurant owners, managers grow sales, profits professionally and personally. Um, today's topic is how to fix services issues in your restaurant. Um, First, we've got to determine what the issues are. Next, is it slow service, friendliness, etiquette, follow up, attitude? Okay. We'll start first with service. What what are your production times? The first thing is, some of you may ask me, what is a production time? If you don't know that, you're in trouble to start with. Production time is the time from the orders placed into the system or given to the cooks um, to the time the cook gets the product out to be taken to the table or to be delivered. Obviously, if you're running 30-minute production times, you've got an issue. People don't want to wait 30 minutes to get their food. If you're delivering that food, then you still got another 10 or 15 minutes in some cases to get it delivered. So you've got a problem there. 30 minutes is a high production time. Uh, oh, so uh, your POS system should be able to do that for you. If you have a POS system and it isn't doing it to you, contact your manufacturer or your whoever designs the software and get them to get that number for you, because you need that number. It's a vital number in your restaurant. Okay. So if it's slow service, what are production times? Can the products be prepared fast enough? If a product is taking 25 minutes to prepare, that's the problem, right there. You know, a cook's going to may not get to an order for 5 minutes because he's preparing other orders. Okay, so um, uh, if it's taking 25 minutes, of course your time's going to be 30 minutes. So that's a problem. Okay. Oh, cooks need to know also. If a product takes 25 minutes, start cooking it now while they're eating their salad, because it's only going to take them 5 or 10 minutes to eat their salad. So, throw the piece of meat on the grill or start that product and then make your salad, get the salad out, so they have time to eat the salad. That's going to help cut your what seems like a production time to the customer, because they're going to get you've overlapped products. Also, if one thing I hate when I'm at a restaurant is when I'm sitting at a table and I've ordered before another table, and they get their food before me. Well, why is that? That's because the cook's really not really truly on top of it. That's why that occurs. If you ever wonder, okay, because they should know that your product is going to take longer to prepare than at table A than a fellow customer at table B. So they should start your product before they start theirs. Um, and sometimes that's going to be they may get a second or two, a minute or two before yours, but that's not usually an issue. It's an issue when I'm sitting at my table and I haven't got my product for 5 minutes longer than it's taken them. It's a minute or two, no big deal, you know. Um, but they should see, hey, the cook should know these certain products take longer to cook. So as soon as they see them come up on the board, they don't wait until they get to that ticket. They immediately start that product. Um, and they've got to be glancing at these as they're hanging them up. They may print off a printer, but then they've got to hang them up on a rail. And when go onto those rails, oh, I've got so and so, I've got to get that started now, even though that's 3 tickets down. Um, and that's important too. That's another thing that can cut it. Okay, and I'll show you some other ways to kind of semi cheat that system on that as well. Um, uh, So and the other thing is, can we do more prep? If this product is taking 25 minutes, can we pre-cook? If it's a chicken breast, can we pre-cook that chicken breast and get it half cooked and everything? Are they having to chop ingredients fresh to put on this? Can we pre-chop those and have them uh, on a make line, to add on later? Um, is there things we can prepare to make that product go faster? Okay, that's another thing you want to look at, and that goes for all the ingredients of that, because a minute here, a minute there, all helps. Um, is the staff fast enough? Like I said, is the cook prepared mentally that he knows that when he hangs that prime rib up or whatever it is, that's going to take a little bit longer. Um, so uh, that's the next thing, is not only are they mentally fast enough, but are they physically fast enough? Are the cooks slow? Are they motivated? Are they short-handed? Okay, those are all important questions. You may think you have a service problem, so you need more waitresses or more drivers. Not necessarily the case. A lot of times that problem, usually slow service, comes from the kitchen, not from, because it's not too often that dishes will get put up and they sit, underneath the warmer too long before they get out to the table. Okay, that doesn't happen very often. Usually, a cook will holler for table service, and even if a waiter or waitress is too busy, the manager or a host or somebody, another waitress, will take that product out. And if other waitresses or waiters aren't running that product out, they need to be. That's teamwork. Um, just because a waiter or waitress is assigned to a table doesn't mean they have to do every single thing for that table. Other waiters or waitresses can run that food out, and they need to be doing that. And the same thing with pre-busing. They run into your section and drop off, um, you know, whatever the product is to the customers. On their way back, they need to be grabbing something. That's common sense. And just because it's not their section doesn't mean they can't grab dirty dishes from somebody else's table. Um, that's teamwork. Same thing with a host or hostess. They go to seat somebody in a far seat. They come back, they need to be grabbing some dirty dishes off other people's tables. That's just good service. Customer don't care, and the dishes don't care who picks them up. My mom used to say the dishes don't know who washes them, whether it's mom, dad, or the kids, and they don't care, and neither do the customers. And bottom line is, we all need to be working as a team, as a common goal of servicing the customer as best as we can. And if you're doing that and you have that action in your restaurant, more power to you. You're going to be successful. Is there a lack of equipment? Um, or is your grill just too busy? There's no more room on your grill. Um, then uh, can you get more? Okay, well, diversify your menu. Okay, um, you know, even if you can get more, it's going to take some time to do it. So you're going to need to have at least a temporary solution. So you're going to need to diversify your menu. So instead of promote a baked item or something that it doesn't require the use of the grill, promote other items. Okay, can you afford new equipment? Um, that's a question a restaurant owner, even if he has the money, will say he don't, because who wants to take money out of their pocket and put it back in, Uh, but restaurant owners were generally pretty frugal. So because our margins are small, we have to be. Um, there is special financing. For example, uh, I check with your credit card company. A lot of them will finance you and say, okay, we'll buy this piece of equipment for you, but we're going to take this amount of money out every day from your credit cards. Okay, well, that's a way to make sure it gets paid. That's not a terrible idea. Could be worse, uh, depending on the amount of the interest rate. The the more profitable you are, the better personal your credit, the business's credit, and your credit is, the better. You may be able to buy it cash. Of course, that's always the cheapest way. Um, but sometimes even buying cash isn't necessarily the cheap. I shouldn't say it's always the cheapest way. It's because it's not. You maybe making 10% profit, but you can get a 4% loan. Okay, so in that case, take the 4% loan. It's cheaper than taking the cash out of 10% profits. You understand that? It's pretty simple math, but explore your options. And the better your credit is, the more options you're going to have, and that's what you want. Um, Again, uh, if the girl's too busy, try baked items or vice versa, whatever. Depending on what it is. Um, Sometimes it's not going to be feasible, simply because of the fact that it's not a quick fix. It's not as simple as buying a grill and putting it, because you have nowhere to put it. Or even if you have somewhere to put it, it's in the wrong place in the restaurant to put it. So you may take a little bit of remodeling. And this is something you're going to have to be prepared for. And then maybe say, okay, well, this grill over here on this side of the restaurant or on this particular part of the restaurant, it's only going to do appetizers. Okay. And all the other grilled item entrees are going to go to this grill. Okay, don't try to necessarily open your mind up, and don't necessarily try to run all the stuff off one grill. Um, try to figure out a way to break it up. Okay, if you have one item that's just a big seller and almost all your grilled items are entrees, then say, okay, well, we're going to cook all the hamburgers on this grill because that's mostly what we sell. Okay, that can be the new one that you're going to put over here, and then you're going to have to buy a printer too, because that goes along with it. You're going to have to buy more small wares as well. More uh, stuff, utensils and stuff to deal with that second grill. Um, so open your mind up, thinking about how, if you have to split it up and do it separate, how you going to uh, split up the orders. Okay, you want to pull them apart and say, okay, well, these products we're always going to pick up from here, and they're going to be done by this grill only, and that's going to help because it's going back to um, Henry Ford and the laws of mass production. Is the more you do the single thing, the faster you can do it. So if a guy all he does is hamburgers, or all he does is grilled chicken breasts, or all he does is patty melts, whatever it is, he's going to get faster and better at that. Okay, and by taking that load off somebody else, they're going to get faster at doing those other items that they have to do. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It may seem dysfunctional at first, but with a little bit of rearranging, an open mind, um, another printer, uh, you're going to grow your sales. Okay, because remember, slow service is losing sales. Um, if you're only turning a table every 60 minutes, there's not, and you're running out of seating, uh, um, you're screwing yourself. Same thing with delivery. If you can only handle doing 10 deliveries an hour, what happens if you can do, if you can get them there 50% quicker? Now you can do 15 deliveries an hour. Okay, that should eventually catch up. And a lot of times they'll do it all by itself, just because they don't see the line, or they know you're not that busy. They know you've got seating, or they know that you're still on time. When you deliver the product. Um, so that lost sales, and you don't know what your ceiling is until you have empty seating. Now then you've reached your ceiling. Then you can start advertising, promoting different things in marketing to fill up those seats. Okay. Next is the problem scheduling. Do you schedule, and you schedule enough service or production? Okay. Um, Next, I go get into lost sales, which I just covered. Uh, if it's you need waiters or waitresses, just add them onto the schedule. Um, Make sure it's the waiters and waitresses you need, not cooks or drivers. Make sure you're adding to the schedule the right people, and never be afraid to overschedule waiters or waitresses because they're cheap. They're only 2 something an hour. So, um, uh, and you can't, um, for that, you just can't beat the price. Hey, $2 an hour. Come on, give me a break. Um, uh, Next, also make sure they're working as a team. I covered this earlier. Is everybody's pre-bus and everybody's winning each other's orders out. Okay, waiters are notorious for that, and don't let a waitress say, "Oh, don't you run my stuff out." BS. It's going out. It's up in the window. It's going out now. I don't care how good a waitress you are, how much you want to run that food out, and you want your customer to see you. BS. It goes out now. Okay. I used to wait tables, and certain waitresses like, "Don't run my food out." Well, you were busy waiting the table, then you still got to ring the order in, and by that time this thing's sitting up here for 2 minutes. No, it's going out now. Okay. You can stop back by the table next time you go through your section and check to make sure everything's going well. And the customer's not going to care whether you handed them the plate or somebody else handed them the plate. They do not care. Okay, so don't let a waitress bully other waiters or waitresses and say that, because that's BS. Okay, um, same thing goes with pre-busing, of course. Same thing with hostesses. They seat somebody again. I covered this earlier. They seat somebody on their way back through. They should grab some dirty dishes. Okay, um, if it's more drivers, okay, and you're worried about the cost, make sure they're cross trained. Make sure when they're in the restaurant they're productive. They can help the cooks. Same thing. If your cooks are a little bit behind and you need production, can your waitresses make salads? Salads are really easy to make. Have your waitresses start making your salads. Take some of the pressure off the production. Okay. Um, but on your drivers, make sure they're cross trained so they can be productive when they're inside, not just doing dishes or taking out trash. That they can jump in and help a cook. Um, the other thing you might want to explore is an expediter, and by an expediter, what I mean is someone who's gonna, before our driver gets back, they're getting that driver's order put together and making sure it's complete and ready to go. Okay. Um, then they're routing your drivers as well. Okay. This guy's going to become like a third cook or a second cook, or because when he's not busy doing that, he can help the cooks, or he can help the waitresses, pour the drinks for them or make their salads, or whatever. And it's going to be another person that can be productive for you. And with drivers, don't ever let drivers route themselves. That's never, never let drivers route themselves unless there's one driver on the clock. Then you can let them route themselves. But otherwise, even then, I'd still route them, because they'll skip one. If it's really far away or something, and take it out of order. Ugh. The other thing is are the drivers taking the orders in order? Okay, if it's order 49, and if they're delivering two orders and it's order 49 and order 52, and 52 is closer and 49 is farther away, a driver would normally take the closer delivery first, and then, which is the three orders later, and then take the other order that's older last. Well, that's going to be late delivery, of course. Um, Generally, I'm not a fan of doing that anyway. If um, if why drive past a place and then go to another that's farther away, then come back on the way back and hit that one? If you're really busy, you can do that, but make sure your driver's still going to take that first order first. Order 49 goes out, gets delivered before 52. Otherwise, that order 49 is going to be really late, and they're going to be upset. That's all there is to it. But the short delivery, okay, that they're going to run on the way back, more than likely can get there faster by waiting for the next driver to show up and send that out with the next order. So when you're doing two orders, okay, you're routing two orders. Try to make the first order a short one, and then the second order the farther one. And that helps the drivers and your service times. Okay. Because by the time that driver drives all the way out to the end of the delivery area, near the edge of the delivery area, drives back towards the center and takes that one, the second driver would have been already back after that driver A or driver one, whatever you want to call it. And then they can get that first order there, and then they can still take a farther delivery. Okay. And that's very important with routing. Sometimes your slow service can be done with routing. And this is why you don't let drivers route themselves. Okay. Because they're greedy. You know, and waiters and waitresses and drivers are greedy. They're working for their tips. And they need to be doing what is not best for them, but what is best for the restaurant. They work for the restaurant. So next, tipping. Encourage tipping from your customers. The more tips they make, the less you've got to pay them. Okay. You know, in fact, I've got that written on the board somewhere later. So I always get ahead of myself on this because I get rambling. There's nothing better than positive reinforcement from the customer. It's great to hear it from the boss, but it's even better when you hear it from the customer because you so rarely hear it. And tipping is a method of positive reinforcement. Okay. Drivers and waitresses live and die for their tips. That's what they do. They don't make the rent or pay their bills if they don't get enough tips. Point blank and period. Okay, 15% is standard for waiters and waitresses. Drivers, there is no standard. It's still kind of a new enough thing in our society where there's not necessarily a standard. And I'm sure lots of people would tell you 15%. The amount of service a waiter or waitress gives is significantly different than a driver. The driver drops the food off and you're done with them. A waiter or waitress takes their food to their table, has to pre-bus their table, has to ask them if they want dessert, give them the check, make change. It's just much more. There's much more labor involved in it. So I think I've always kind of gone with 10%. Now on catering orders, I would automatically charge a 10% because people don't like to necessarily tip drivers because it is kind of a new facet. People don't know what the standard is or what should be tipped and how much. By the way, on any order, okay, even if it's not 10%, they get an $8 order delivered. I don't suggest 80 cents. I suggest $1.20. They or if it's $8.80, let's say, I suggest $1.20, $1 and change. A driver should never get less than $1 and change at the very minimum. Okay, and then on all orders over $50, I would charge 10%. Just automatically make your POS system. People put that in there for you. And delivery charge is not a tip. A lot of people will say it is. It's not. Delivery charge is reimbursement and for your gas, your wear and tear, and your depreciation on your car. Okay, that's what it's for. And the other thing is a lot of these, for example, the pizza companies now are all charging about $2.50 at the moment. Okay, and uh, 10 years ago they didn't charge at all. Most of them were free delivery. Of course, it was all figured into the price of the pizza, but now they've, instead of raising the price of the pizza, making the price on the pizzas look higher, they've added the delivery charge. It started off about $1, and it's inched up as the price of gas has gone up. But you notice right now, I saw gas this morning at $1.67. It has not come down. Delivery charges, right? Gas prices drop, but delivery charges haven't. Okay, so and believe me, they're not going to lower that. Once they go up, they'll never come back down. Okay. So, and the pizza companies keep about half that. They give drivers about half, and then they keep about half. So it's not, and I guess in a way that's fair because the pizza companies got to pay the driver a lot. They can't pay them minimum wage like a waiter or waitress. They or shouldn't say minimum wage. They can't pay them the adjusted minimum wage that a waitress or waitress gets at $2 something an hour. They have to pay them. They get $7.75 now an hour. So at a minimum. So, um, uh, they were to compensate their labor uh, back a little bit. So, that's understandable, I think. Okay. Whatever it takes to cover your costs, because again, the name of the game is making a profit. Um, and if you're not making money, there's really a lack of things you can do. There's a lot of things that probably need to be fixed, but if you're making a profit, you can fix them much easier with cash. Okay. Uh, Next is the tips are the largest piece of their income. Waiter or waitress, even delivery drivers, even they're making $7.75 an hour, they make more money in tips than you do in your hourly wage, and um, so they live and die for that, And so tips are important. Make sure you're encouraging your customers to do so. Uh, the more they make in tips, the less you've got to pay them. If they're making $200 a night in tips, they really don't give a f how much you're paying them. Because guess what? They're making $50,000 a year in tips, so they couldn't care less what you pay them hourly wage. Okay, um, and guess what? The more money all of us make, the happier and better attitudes we have. And amazing how that works. Uh, uh, if the problem with service is etiquette and manners, make sure they know the proper manners, like holding the glass at the bottom, not reaching over a customer to serve another customer. Their thumb is on the edge of the plate, not on top of the plate. Okay. Uh, Pre-busing is teamwork. We've covered that already. Okay. Next is attitude and friendliness. Determine who and how many people it is. If it's one or two people, talk to them. Uh, Find out why their attitude or they're not is poor or they're not very friendly. Do they have personal problems? You know, it happens to all of us. We have personal stress in our lives, and it's hard to leave it at the door. We're all human, and we're all capable of it. So find out if it's a personal thing, okay? And then if it is, do they need some extra time off? And if so, try to give it to them. The other thing is, can you help them? If you help someone personally, remember the one of the main keys for success in this business is retention, keeping people. You're going to hire good people. Remember, I told you we're always going to hire good people. You know, people of character. Okay, and if you, especially a person of character, if you help them out when they are down on a personal issue, you know, they're gonna repay you, not just the money or if you loan them money or whatever, but they're gonna repay you in loyalty, and we all become a family when we work together 40 hours a week. My dad used to say, I spend more time with my work family than I do with my 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 actual family, and it's true. Sometimes that is the case, especially when you consider 8 hours of sleep or the hours that we sleep don't count. Um, so it's important. Oh, yeah. It's important that we take care of the people, take care of our employees, and if you can help them, maybe they're short on their power bill. You can loan them $50, take it out of their next paycheck, or heck, they might make it in tips that night or whatever. Um, but be legitimately concerned because you care about them as a person. Okay, that will repay you. Okay. Um, can they not handle the stress? Do they need to be retrained? Can you lighten their load temporarily? Maybe your sections are 8 tables, and they just struggle handling 8 tables. Well, for the next while, let them only do 6 and give one of their tables to another waitress and another one of their tables to another waitress. Okay, um, you know, so until they build up the speed. If it's attitude, they are not likely to change. Um, you're probably going to have to terminate them. Attitudes are not, they're just the most difficult thing to change. So just be prepared for that if it's an attitude problem. And The worst thing you can have is an attitude problem with a service person because they're showing that to your customers. So, the last thing is they need to be sociable. Uh, be able to talk to people and smile. There's no replacement for a smile. They're free and they mean so much. There's nothing like a warm smile from anybody. You know, um, they can't be replaced. They have to be able to smile. Uh, everyone loves a compliment. Uh, when you're waiting tables, say, "Oh, I love your necklace," or "I like your dress," or "I like your watch," or "That's a really cool phone," or whatever. Um, compliment something about them. Or you know what? You always come in when you have a smile on your face. I always like waiting on you because you're always so cheerful. Um, the next two are really keys. Children. If you pay special attention to parents' children, you're I almost guarantee you're made like Flint. I don't care if the food's very good even. Um, the parents love when people pay attention to their children. And if you're delivering, same thing with our pets. People, in case you haven't noticed, the last 20 years, pet stores everywhere. Pets are our second children, and most people will die for their pets. And so if you're delivering a pizza, or delivering whatever to their door, notice if they have a cat or a dog or whatever, and compliment them. Again, that's the only thing better than that is children. So um, that wraps up covering service issues. I want to thank you again for listening, and please like and subscribe. And I want to give you my website address again: www.theboss.rocks, helping restaurant managers, owners grow sales, profits professionally and personally. You'll have a great day. Thank you.